Hello people, hello, welcome to the Lost Crown. Sorry we're later than normal today. Yeah, just stuff happened sort of around noonish and just had to sort of keep going. And it feels weird because now that we started later, I feel like it's so much later. Like I keep expecting to look at the clock and it's like 5 o'clock or something like that, but really we're only about the same time I would normally be finishing. It's very weird. Anyway, just as a precursor to starting the game, I'll just say this is not my first playthrough. Anyone who well has known me or perhaps maybe my YouTube channel for any, you know, even a minute probably knows that this is something I've played before. I've played it. I played myself a few times, and then I've also played it on a let's play. A let's play which was far too long, to be fair. I should have cut a lot more out of it, but that does mean that I generally know what I'm doing as we go. Now, I've never 100%ed this game. That is to say, there are sort of certain things you can pick up throughout the game, which sort of photos of places and things like that, which I've never got all of them. I don't know where they all are. One of these days, maybe, but you know, it's just never happened. Yeah. So this is the this is not even the original. Excuse me. Sorry. Since we started later, I thought I'd have lunch, and then it's left me all burpy. Anyway, this isn't even the original game. Well, it's the original game. This isn't the original version. When it came out on Steam, they actually updated some of the gameplay aspects. They actually added in a couple of things which make it easier, which is very good. It's one of these move around through the different screens, almost point and click style, but the original game you could only move at one speed. If you clicked like exit a screen, he had to walk all the way across the screen and leave that way, whereas now you can double click and he'll quick travel, so that's much better. But also one odd adjustment is this little man here. You can see my cursor, yeah, just about. It's this little man right here. He is part of the plot, and it's odd that he should be there prior to knowing who he is, but it also does add a nice sort of sinister aspect. It's pretty cool. Also got a little kitty down here, just for reference. Anyway, so yeah, so I've never played this before. Oh god, no. So I have played this before. So if you've never played this before, I might reference the occasional spoiler, so I apologise, but I'll try to keep it generally quite a spoiler-free playthrough. But you know, it's just the way it may go with my mouth, unfortunately. Okay, so what we do is our little tarot card here is our general game options, or we got a little quit here. More tarots. We can begin. Relive the past. That's load, obviously, or our options. Actually, what are the options? Let me just double check what they're set to. Display subtitled. Yes. Okay. That's all we want. So okay, go back. That menu's a bit lengthy, but whatever. We shall start a new one. Dun, dun, dun.
Mr. Hare. Mr. Crow. Report!
Report.
We've lost him, sir.
I don't want your excuses.
Disappeared into the crowds.
Which way was he heading?
Station, sir. He has the documents.
Danvers has seen and heard too much. He knows about the chasm and D-Labs. He could have seen the experiment.
How? The firewalls are hack-proof.
To those on the outside, yes.
Ah, he's one of us.
Perhaps I could think of a better purpose for Mr. Danvers.
Shall I get after him, Mr. Hatton?
He'll be catching the last train.
Which platform, sir? There is still time.
No, leave him be. I know which train he's on, and I know where he's going.
Where, sir? Where is he going?
He's going nowhere, Mr. Crow. Nowhere at all.
Well, that's easy to remember, isn't it? I know where. Nowhere. Moving for one. Oh, Rizalka, hello, welcome. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Thank you for stopping by. Don't get killed by spooks. I will try not to. That's a long work day. I wish you a good oblivion. And obviously a nice return from it. Thank you for stopping by. Have a good sleep. It always bugged me that that tape just sort of seems to move through the sickle slightly. You're like, oh, if you just shrunk it slightly, it would have just gone through the centre and it would have been fine. But they overlap just on a corner. But you know, first world problems. Just too much time to go. So many hours on the weekend and this weekend overtime. Bloody hell. Well, that's nice. Get to keep that time for yourself then. That holiday, I mean. Well, I mean, you know, it's give and take, isn't it? It's not like you have a, you know, it's not like it comes for free. You've earned it. You're just outside of hours. Bloody hell. Well, I mean, that's pretty awesome generally. 2 weeks time and lieu at the moment. Oh, wow, 2 weeks time and lieu. That's insane. Would you like the tutorial? Absolutely not, because that's going to be really kind of boring, and it won't cover anything we don't know, so it's fine. Here we are. That is always the problem with
Stop, Mr. Danvers.
toil or time off in lieu.
My name? You told me. In between kips.
Kips, sleeps.
You mean I woke up?
It's oblivion.
Yes,
Bye.
I should say so.
Bye, Rizalga. Thank you for dropping by.
Yes, you were.
You take care of yourself. Right, apparently we were chatty in our sleep, for some reason. We are also the last person on this train, seemingly. A train called Sleepwalker. I don't know if that's a reference to anything, but it's definitely an interesting little Easter egg, given some of the weird, obscure possibilities of this game. This game doesn't really make any sense. Even the first time round, like by the end of it, you're like, what is going on? So don't be surprised if we get to the end of the playthrough and you're just like, what the hell is going on? Multiple playthroughs, you could start to see little things thrown in here and there. Now, sometimes they're just little Easter eggs, sometimes they're just references to other things, you know, nothing major, but occasionally there'll be something in there and you're like, oh, that makes a lot more sense now. Hopefully we can try and break some of that on the first playthrough as we go, because I have seen this before. Anyway, let's go.
That's an impressive old trade.
Old, sir. It may be lacking a little polish here and there, but this old girl hasn't let us down yet.
The tourists must love it. And your outfit.
Outfit, sir?
I see. Reenactment or something.
You've lost me, Mr. Danvers. Was there something else?
I have known some reenactors who can take themselves a little seriously, but none of them have ever been that professional.
Did you see anybody else board the train at London?
Only you? And the young lady?
Young lady? A girl?
Yeah, that's
Welcome,
right.
come on
Unless
in.
I've been getting
Oh,
it
Basil.
wrong all these years.
Hello, welcome. Thank you for stopping by.
Well,
And thank you
here,
for
of
very
course,
much for the raid.
Marsh.
Where did she go? I've seen no other passengers.
Through the fens, I'm guessing. Fancy your chances, do you?
I resent that remark.
I resemble that remark. I mean, what?
Well, that's interesting.
Every time I tab out, the game pauses and goes really quiet. So I just wanted to wait till the dialogue had finished first. Oops. Did that work? Yes, it did. Tell him I sent you. Castlevania Lords of Shadow 2. Nice. I didn't even know you were on. Sorry. Thank you again for dropping in. How did it go? Have you finished the game yet? That seems to be your MO. Doesn't take you long to get through them, I have to admit. Pretty good at that. But how are you in yourself? Also, I hope you're having a good day. Or will it be night for you? No problem. Thank you. Good. Oh, sorry. We'll keep the dialogue going in between.
Have we been here long? It was midnight when we left London.
No, we've just arrived. Bang on time.
There's nothing here. What am I supposed to do?
Maybe Sir should have thought about that before boarding.
Exactly.
Usually, out of flood season, we would continue on, but the spring tide flooded the fen, meaning said marsh is our last stop.
What time does the train leave?
No passengers for the return journey.
What?
You enjoyed what you played so far?
Hardly
Excellent.
leave me.
Itoshura, hello.
You'd rather end up at
Welcome.
the terminus, sir.
How are you today? Hope you're well. Welcome to The Lost Crown, a Darkling Room game, most notably by a man called Jonathan Bokes, who also happens to voice our protagonist here, Mr. Danvers. He is referenced in other games, but I believe this is his first actual appearance. His name comes up in Darkfall 1 as someone who is there prior to the protagonist of that game, but I believe this is his first actual, like I said, his actual appearance, and this sort of fleshes him out for later appearances and other things, even if it's just by name. Again, he's becoming sort of a staple of Jonathan Bokes' worlds, almost sort of tying them together like an MCU, but for ghost hunting, I guess. Greetings, you're well. Excellent, good. Glad to hear it. Thank you for coming across if you're with the Voozle, I assume, maybe? If not, just welcome anyway. Right, sorry, we've been through all that.
I'll return. Sure.
Very well, Mr. Danvers.
Now, the way the, Nigel Danvers talks always reminds me a little bit of the impressions of... Well, yeah, you can't really move around a screen. He doesn't really do that.
Excuse me.
Oh, damn it, let's clicking on there.
Yes, sir. Can I help you?
I didn't mean to talk to him again.
I don't know. I was hoping that you
Oh.
could...
Good what, sir?
Good, nothing. End the dialogue. Yeah, it always reminds me...
Mr. Danvers.
Watching a Voozle loop out. Oh, excellent, good. Oh, again, thank you for dropping by. Art style reminds me of the Saboteur, black and white, but a few colours. Yes, it's very artistic in that fashion. But it, yeah, his talking style reminds me of those William Shatner impressions. You know, they're all like very stunted. From what I understand, because like I said, it's voiced by the creator, Jonathan Bokes. He was aiming for a voice that is reminiscent of those old, sort of very upper class radio announcement kind of voices, very stunted, you know. And they, I can't even do the impression myself, so I won't try, but you'll know it if you hear it. You know, it's a really sort of like it's a really old school kind of talking. That's what he was aiming for, but it does also make him sound slightly odd. Because the other thing is, I've heard him voice lines in other games, and he doesn't sound like this. So this is definitely a line, a character he's putting on, and it sounds so weird. But you very quickly get used to it, and it just becomes part of the character then. Anyway, so we've got some of these old signs here. Sunlight Soap, Reckitt's, something or other. God knows what that is. So he won't leave yet.
If it leads anywhere at all.
Because he doesn't know where he's going? Oh, that's the train behind us.
This could be my last chance.
So yeah, as the train said, the lines carry on, but because of spring flooding, the fens, or these sort of marshy areas, and said marsh is where we are at the moment, they flood the lines, and the tracks don't go any further at this stage. So we have to follow back this way instead. Yeah, I do like the inclusion of random colour. It's very weird. You so quickly get used to this game in black and white, and the odd bit of colour thrown in really does stand out. But it also blends in so well because it highlights things which don't need to be highlighted in the slightest. So it's not like Sin City where, you know, all blood is red and nothing else and stuff like that. This sometimes the colour just seems completely random, but
Excuse me.
it's very good at drawing the eye for fun,
Yes,
I guess.
sir. Can I help you?
I don't know.
Oh, okay.
That you could...
I don't know.
What?
Right, okay, yes, sorry. He takes so long with that bit.
Where does the
He'll know
path
where the path
lead?
goes.
Saxton, sir. Across the fen.
Why doesn't the train go there?
The floods, Mr. Danvers. I did say.
I did say.
During the spring, the line ends here, at Sedge Marsh.
Can I get to Saxton on foot?
Oh, easily, sir. Follow the path through to Saxton.
Big town, is it? Phone, food, a bed,
Big enough, you'll find all you need. A little treasure it is.
treasure. Why do you say that?
You'll know soon enough.
I see. Very well. I'll see for myself.
That you will. Oh, seeing as you're heading that way,
What?
I found this on the train. The young lady must have dropped it.
Oh yes, the young lady he mentioned previously was on the train with us as well. She was the only other passenger apparently.
Well, if you're quick, catch her up in no time.
I'll try my best. So long. I didn't catch your name.
Oh, that's right. You didn't. Station master will do.
Goodbye,
Yeah.
station master.
Goodbye, Mr.
I didn't catch your name, that's fine. My title will do. That's Dr. Station Master to you. So yeah, we can look at these barrels and they're off to, well, I assume this is beer or ale of some description. Off to a place called The Bear. Bishop's Whisper and Fenland Ale arrived at Sedmas. So yeah, it's really odd that the music goes very ominous there and it's all like, treasure, why did you say that? Because he could, you know, calling something a little treasure is not unusual, you know. He's
Town? The town of Saxton?
apparently. I mean, all he's saying is that, you know, it's a nice little, you know, place to be and that kind of stuff. But he acts so weirdly about it. I never quite understood that because treasure is referenced later in the game, but at this stage he has no idea of anything going on. The word treasure isn't, you know, shouldn't suddenly signal anything in him. I don't get it. Anyway, right, so we'll go off this way. And the train disappears. Voozle, anyway, sorry, how was, you said your game was good, you're enjoying it? How far into it do you think you are? Have you got a lot left? Oh, our little journal of sorts. It's a really tatty notebook. Day 1. I don't know. Also, I don't know what pen he's using that it suddenly gets fatter and thinner as he's going. I mean, I could understand that if obviously it was, say, ooh, I don't know, one of those. You get those ones where they have like a really fine nib, but they still have a lot of flowing ink. You know, it's not a fountain pen. It's actually, you know, but if you hold it in one place too long, you will just flood the page. I don't know how they work, but I can understand it's one of them, but I just imagine it's just a biro, at which point you're just like, well, why is it so crap? Anyway, blast, my curiosity strikes again. Peeking at the Haddon secrets has cost me my job at the very least. Time to lay low, find somewhere to hide. So these are our little objectives here, the hashtags. Find somewhere to stay, somewhere isolated, lonely, far from home. Well, I think we're already pretty far from home. We were coming out of London, apparently. He finds it odd that we got here in the morning, so seemingly quite late, after just leaving London late at night. I don't know, I can't entirely understand why he thinks that's so weird, but you know, it's several hours later and we've suddenly arrived in the morning somewhere. And he apparently didn't know where the hell the train was going either. He got on a steam train in the middle of London and just thought it's gonna... He's surprised it's a steam train when he gets to the other end of it. I don't know. It's very weird. Explain to Haddon. Beg if need be. I need to get Hare and Crow off my back. Now, if you weren't here, I don't know, what, 15 minutes ago? Hare is a guy that was on the phone to a character who was Mr. Haddon, obviously head of company, I guess. The company we work for. Hare and Crow are his lackeys, his goons. And they were chasing us to the train station. That was, you know, implied. We never saw it. And lastly, make sure I am not followed. How we do that one, I don't know. There's no real mechanic for that. It's just apparently we just, you know, make sure no one finds us here. I mean, if they're not here anyway, how are they going to follow us? So, right. This is said marsh, looking very much like Jurassic Park in the sign. It's very interesting. We have lots of signs and readable things throughout. I won't read all of them because some of them are just informational. Informative even. Things like this. I'm not going to read about the natterjack toad or the heron and so on, but I will flash them up on screen if anybody's, you know, really interested in having a quick look, the quickest of looks. And this also caught me out first time I played, very much so. Some of these, or in fact many of these signs have an upper and a lower portion. Some of them, even like this one, have a left and right as well. That was confusing, but this is where we are. So that's the train we've just come from. So this means there's a sea path up here just closed due to erosion, makes sense. A Martello Tower. I'll talk about that when we pass it. And so we have this large section. Apparently the marshes are surprisingly small. They're just a small marsh surrounded by these pathways. And another path off this way. Now, if I remember correctly, if we go this way, this path is also inaccessible. So we only really have one way to go. It's very linear here. And then we can look down here, and it gives us a whole bunch of stuff here. Does it mention the Martello Tower here? No, it doesn't. Okay, no problem. So there we go. Right, so we'll just zoom out of there again. We will go this way just to show it off. Your favourite genre game, the point-and-click adventure such as this one? Generally, yes. I'd say it is.
There's someone out there.
Oh.
Amongst the reeds.
Okay. Oh, there she is again. Okay. I was going to say, they didn't zoom in very close. It is. I like point and clicks. I like adventure games. This game, there are times when I may not be very favourable towards it for some, you know, little pieces it does weirdly here and there. Ooh, ominous.
I'll catch her later.
Well, of course she's gone. You stood there and watched her leave. But this game is honestly, I would say, within my top 5 like all-time games. I love this. It's not just this genre, but the way Jonathan Bucks does his games just somehow works more interesting. These ghosts and ghouls and the spookiness, it's so much more appealing to me. And in some ways, I think the slight sort of
swamp-like water,
almost indie aspect to them makes it just, it's much more interesting at that rate. So we've got nice blue flowers here as well. I believe they're referenced on the board somewhere as well, talking about them. They grow commonly in this area, but not very common elsewhere, I believe.
Well, thank you.
Oh, thank you very much. Thank you for the follow. It's very kind. Right, yeah, so we couldn't go left. That piece of what are we going to call this? There's a walkway, you know, a bridgey walkway that's collapsed on the left as well. So we're going around this way in circles essentially. And this leads us round to where we would have been if we turned right, I believe. Now up here is this should be the path out to sea, basically, which has eroded away as per the map. Ah, no, okay. I knew this was around here somewhere. I got lost. That is the path out to sea, I believe. This is some random guy. Oh, that was a toad jumping into the water there.
Excuse me? Quiet, man. You'll scare him away.
Who will scare away? I'm not entirely sure. But he's hanging out in this little oh, what do they call them? This is just like a hide, I guess, of sorts. I mean, it's, you know, it's still pretty obviously here, I guess, but it gives you some shelter from whatever may suspect you. And yes, this is where we're going out to sea. We need this here. This squishy piece of metal. I don't understand how that works. And that little tune signifies the fact that we've done something correct. We'll hear that a few times throughout the game. Oh yeah, sorry. answer your question a little more succinctly. Yes, it is. It's not just the genre; it's this specific game. But I do like spooky games and adventure games. It's my favourite. So this little mixture is perfect. I feel kind of weird playing this late in the year. This is actually a spring-based game. I normally actually sort of end up playing it. I sort of get the hankering for it in spring, around the actual time of the game. It's just a weird sort of coincidence, I guess. But you know, it's October. We got ghosts happening apparently at some point. So I thought we'll see if we can get it done by the end of the month, because that's just what happens. With my streaming, you know, hopefully the timings will all work out and we can get through this quick enough to mean that we're not going past Halloween, because that would be weird. Known through some adventure game communities. Who, Jonathan Boakes? That's awesome. I mean, he has once replied to one of my tweets. I think that's the the closest claim to fame I have with that. You know, that was pretty awesome. But that's cool. I mean, he's a very nice man, from what I understand. You know, very very down to earth and approachable in some ways, I guess. He's
dark, swamp-like water.
Swamp-like water. As almost as if we're in a swamp of some description, or marsh. But yeah, that's pretty cool. He's like I said, I follow him on Twitter. You know, I see his stuff pop up, but not much more than that. And here we have another sign. I believe this is basically the same sign as the one at the front. Just going to show us, yeah, all the same things. Yeah, and that's the flower there, basically saying, look, don't touch it, it's poisonous. There we go. Now this here is a Martello Tower. Now, hang on, see what he's going to say here. Oh, he's just going to look up. Okay. Now the other thing is, when I played this game way back, respect gamers like me, that's crazy. Okay. You love story-oriented games, but couldn't get into the point-and-click styles. Interesting. Okay. See, I remember way back, like way back when I was a kid, when we first got our computer. The reason I got into point-and-clicks was because I just okay. Bearing in mind I was a child. Okay. I just didn't have the nerves for first-person shooters. I don't know what it was. I just being in that first-person perspective, I just couldn't. I couldn't take it. I would find a hidey hole and sit there. Because I remember I played a game called Blake Stone way back. I mean, you can see it on some old site somewhere, I'm sure. And it was anyway, I mean, it was just a Wolfenstein ripoff, basically. Not that I knew that at the time specifically, because I didn't know Wolfenstein really. But this is one of those like old Apogee ones where you'd get the first like 5 levels on a disc or something, and then you'd have to send off for the rest, and they obviously the cost of the game would build up that way. And I remember playing those levels over and over, but I also remember that was a real slog to get through, because I would find like a room where there were no enemies, and I was like, right, I'm safe here, and I would just stay there for ages. I'd be like, I don't want to leave. So in that sort of Doom and Quake, exactly. I just couldn't get through those games because I don't know what it was. Like I said, I was only little, but I just didn't have the nerves for it. I just couldn't get through. I mean, it doesn't bother me now these days because it's just a game. But don't know what it was. Anyway, so the alternative was to go for something more story or puzzle based, and I really enjoyed the puzzle ones. I'm not so much a Sierra player because in my mind, they require too much replay. The games can be funny, but the idea of hitting a dead end and just saying, right, I better start the game again, that I always hated that. Or even just, the fact that you could die, because I was like, when did I last save? And things like, the idea of replaying parts just, it frustrated me. So I preferred like LucasArts, because there's always, essentially it's a linear game. You're never going to lose a LucasArts game, So that's what I enjoyed the most about them, and so that sort of interest just stayed. Some remakes take away the dead ends. Oh, do they? Well, I mean, that's handy. I mean, true. I guess a lot of times they, to be fair, it seems almost like they're sort of making the making the games easier for the current generations. It's almost like people just don't have the interest anymore, so they're like, shit, let's, you know, take out some of that stuff so people like it more. And
Hello!
we just get to hello again. There's random points in this game where he just gets to shout out to the sea and it echoes back at him. Oh yeah, what was I going to say about Martello Towers? Right, when I first played this, I did. Oh yeah, there's our little options thing up there. And this is our inventory down here. Oh, we'll go through that shortly. I forgot about that. I didn't realise that. I thought this place was called the Martello Tower. I didn't realise Martello Towers were a thing. It turns out, like on the south coast of England, these were very quickly erected during Napoleonic times to essentially create like a warning system, and you know, this is what they're all about. So I did not realise that that's what they were. It was only recently I heard about them. Someone mentioned, you know, sort of the creation of the Martello Towers. I was like, oh well, Martello Tower. That's in Lost Ground. Crazy. So yeah, it's weird. Oh no, don't. No. Oh, okay. Once you start him doing an action, you can't stop him. That's kind of annoying, but whatever. It's very odd you can't move around a location. He'll go to items or off a screen, but once he's in a place, he's in there. That's it. You know, that's where he stands until he has to go somewhere else. I find that very off-putting because, of course, it's completely unlike any other game where you just click and they wander around, you know. Anyway, so that's our third squishy plate right there. Is it our third? Is that no? That's our second. Sorry, our second squishy plate. We don't even know why we need them right now, but you know, typical adventure game stuff. If you can pick it up, you might as well. But ooh, here we are. This is where we're going to need them. I mean, it stands out quite clearly. We've got one here already, but since we need 3 more, we need to keep looking. For some reason, he absolutely will not go into that cave without knowing what's in the cave first, despite the fact that we don't actually know what's in the cave. Nothing ever tells us until we go in. He just, for some reason, there's like some kind of weird block. He's just like, no, not going that way. So, oh, excuse me, sorry. Cough crept up on me. That is our third piece. Okay, excuse me a second. Excuse me, sorry, quick cough. Right.
I have no idea where this leads.
Again, he won't go this way because he doesn't know where it goes.
I have no idea where this leads.
All this way again. He seemingly has no interest in adventure or discovery. He's just like, fuck it, I'm not going. He's very crazy. Anyway. So we have a rather linear path ahead of us. We have this piece here, which is stuck, and then we have 3 more pieces, so let's just add them in. And then we get to build a little sign for us. The sign is basically going to say, you know, just be careful when you go in here. The fact that you can, you know, you can read this sign without having to actually put it together. It's an adventure game puzzle, you know. What are you going to do? So, Hidoshura, what kind of games do you play then? Obviously, if not, you know, adventure games. We're waiting for this to click. There we go.
Dangerous undercurrents. I should take that as a warning. To watch my step from now on.
That's it. He doesn't know he needs to watch his step until the sign tells him. So, oh.
What on earth is that?
Gotta be honest, it sounds like my stomach right now. It's fine. So yeah. He just, he won't even peek in until he knows that it's dangerous and he needs to watch his step. Which, you know, of course, is something normally you don't find out till after the fact, but whatever.
Nothing ventured.
Nothing ventured. It's so weird. This is also seemingly the best way to get through. The station master was like, oh yeah, just, you know, follow the path and you'll get there. And it's like, this is not a path. This is a tiny crag in a cave. I mean, he had to turn sideways to get through. You'd think they'd open it up more if more people are going to be expected to walk through. Anyway. So, randomly,
Treasure? Perhaps my time here won't be entirely wasted.
there's our treasure reference. Again, much more interesting after the fact, but why it would be so ominous before, I don't know. Anyway, Friday 18th of April, no year mentioned, includes weekend radio listings. Treasure hunters descend on sleepy Saxton town, ancient coast ravaged by spring tides. Whew, right, okay. Sorry, get yourself all set up. Right, here we go. Hundreds of archaeological enthusiasts, treasure hunters, tomb robbers and wreck explorers are due to descend upon the small Anglian town of Saxton this coming week. Coastal erosion caused by the spring high tides has caused many acres of our Anglian land to fall into the sea, lost forever. Ancient earth is lost to the waves as more of the land is exposed to the elements and greedy treasure hunters. There's treasures out there, out in those fens, waiting to be found. That says visiting metal detector enthusiast Laurie Stone, 56. Stone is only one of many glory seekers hoping to find the lost Anglo-Saxon crown, believed to have been the last of the 3 such treasures created thousands of years ago for the ancient rulers of the kingdom. Treasure or no treasure, the spring tides and the May Day festival always bring many to the small harbour town in search of legend, mystery and mythology. It's always good for business. We have regulars who come back year after year for the May Day fair and the possibility of finding Anglia's treasures, says Saxton pub landlord Morgan Mankle, 29. An interesting reference there. I don't know why they feel the need to throw her age in it, of anybody actually. Anglia has an ancient and fascinating history with confirmed history dating back to the Celts. Confirmed history going back to the Celts? Well, you don't need to confirm it. We know they lived there anyway. So, anyway, that's by the way. Many experts, including Saxton's own Professor Hardacre, believe many of the later Anglo-Saxon treasures have yet to be found. Continued on page 16. Gruel's Antiquities and Collectibles. And this one here, reduce your flesh. That always gets me. It's a weird way of saying it. Because if you think about it, I mean, it's not fat. If you eat the flesh of something, it's essentially muscle. That's what you're eating. You're not eating fat. But so reduce your muscle. I don't get it. By wearing something, apparently. And so it's right there, but so it must be like a top, a bodice of some description. I don't get it. You live, I assume maybe you mean like, most genres of games from shooters to pure puzzle games. Oh, all right, okay, so quite a range then, but just not sort of point and click styles. Interesting. Okay, that's fair. See, I have to admit, as much as I like sort of point and click, I think probably the ones that I enjoy the most are, besides this obviously, are like the mislikes. I really like that sort of walk around and discover a world with puzzles thrown into it, and those puzzles being completely impossible as well. I love them. Top 3 would be Metroid, Zelda, and a game called The World Ends With You. The World Ends With You. Why do I know that title? I know that title. I can't think of the game off the top of my head, sorry. But Metroid... See, Metroidvanias could never get into them, personally. Just... Not that you asked, obviously, but just saying. It's one of those things, like, side-scrollers, not my standard, but I have to admit, I think if I was going to go with one, like, as, Castlevania or Metroid, for the stereotypical, I would probably go with Metroid, I think. I played some Metroid Prime back on the old GameCube, but I never sort of dipped into the 2D versions. And Zelda's the same. I could never get into the 2D ones, probably just because of the style of them, but I really enjoyed the almost immersive feeling of the 3D ones. I don't know what that is. It's not necessarily the graphics so much as just the feeling of the world, but Zelda, I'm definitely with you there. World Ends With You. That's gonna have to look that up later. It certainly rings a bell. Anyway, this cave has an odd little side cave right here. Very ominous. This weird door just doesn't do anything. And if we look through it, it seemingly leads nowhere. But if we're careful, watch closely, there's little shadows moving around. And I think that shows up better on stream than it does on my screen. Bonus. Some odd voices playing as well. but another piece of newspaper as well. That's more interesting. Ghosts, who needs them? Let's read. Monday 2nd of April. So, April, was the last one April? Yeah, so this is previous. This is an older piece. Okay. No peace in death. The humble folk of Saxton were horrified to discover an 80-year-old corpse floating in the still harbour water last weekend. The body was spotted by a local man, Bob Tawney. We'll meet him soon. While doing his milk and bread round. You know, it never twigged to me he was the milk and bread round man. Anyway, horrible it were, said Mr. Tawney. It would fall into bits. Well, I wouldn't imagine there's much left after 80 years. Jesus. You could barely call it human. It was so rotten and putrid. Jesus, that's long-lasting, to be fair. Yeah. Identifying the body took little time after police discovered the local graveyard had become flooded and disturbed by the unusually high spring tides. The Saxton area is experiencing an unexpectedly wet spring, leading to widespread flooding and coastal disturbance. They come floating across the sea out of the fog, it says there. We're probably going to read that again anyway. The once quiet graveyard is now all but destroyed by the approaching sea, meaning Earth? I think that's supposed to say other bodies will be disturbed from what was intended to be an eternal slumber. They come floating across the sea out of the fog and into our small town, continued Mr. Tawney. The fishing has had to stop, with the water being so badly polluted. The week's catch sits around the town waiting to be burnt. The smell is unbearable. The fisherfolk of Saxton are hoping that the May Day festival is not affected by the gruesome events. Horror as corpse is swept free from local graveyard. Skin peel stops body odour. Oh my god. Health soap. 2 jackets doubles cellophane. What? Oh, sorry, I missed some chats. Part 2 of the World Ends With You recently came out for PlayStation, Switch, or so maybe that's why. But the first game was a DS game. Oh, the World Ends DS game. You're right. I mean, if more of it's come out, that's probably where I've been hearing about it. I guarantee you, I bet if I look at it, I'm going to go, oh, it's that one. But sorry, I just can't place it. You know, that's typical. First game was a DS game. Well, either way, I'm glad you like it. Glad you have some. I've always found it difficult to narrow down sort of top 3s and 5s and so on, because there's all the different genres. I mean, I could say, like, you know, my top 3 RPGs, but you know, if you've got a top 5 and 3 of them are RPGs, where do you get all the others thrown in there? You know, it's crazy. Sports and racing, honestly. Do you know what? I'm with you there. It's I mean, there are other genres I probably won't bother with, you know, but I could maybe dip in and out. But sports games just really, they don't do it for me. I'm not a sporty person anyway. I find it really hard to bother with them. I would do it maybe out of, say, like you know, Mario Tennis or something like that. It's obviously a lot more, you know, sort of comically interesting. But also it's more of a party game. I would do it for those purposes. And again, racing, not interested. I always feel like
some kind of sea monster.
Sea monster. I always feel the stupid thing is, as much as they put effort into racing games to being realistic, I always feel like my car's just floating around the place. So I think it proves I'm a terrible driver. They made the most impact on my life. That's fair, exactly. So I guess irrelevant of genre. That's fair. It's like Lost Crown. Again, I couldn't. I don't even know exactly which genre to put it in. You know, spooky. It's not quite point and click. You know, it's an adventure game, I guess. But this definitely wins out just because I enjoy it so much. But there are others that have definitely. It's like what always gets me is things like if you would include like I really liked Mass Effect, but I could easily say, well, I didn't like Mass Effect 3 as much as 1 and 2, but of course, you know, if you've only got like a top 5, you're like, well, Mass Effect. Now, which ones do I pick? You know, 1, 2, and 3, or do I just pick the best one out of those? You know, it becomes a bit of a mess. And then you got, you know, like I said, all the other genres thrown in. It's very difficult, but I understand what you're saying with the 3. I guess I've been maybe just hit by too many games. I'm too impacted. Marry-themed versions make an exception. That's fair. Yes, exactly. They're just too crazy. Anyway, the obvious way is out this way. Now, here we see a little boy. If you can't tell what he's doing, he has a stick aiming for a little teddy bear that's floating in the water. And here's his little tricycle. We cannot interact with the child for some reason. We can go back into the cave. We can look up
An
here.
abandoned building. It looks foreboding.
It looks foreboding. And we can go left. So since that's our only other option, we'll go for that. Really heavy stomping as he walks across the desert. The sand, I mean. Right, so here we are. More horrendously cloudy days. Some strange fog going on. Lots of the... Wow, there's so many lobster... cages? Catches? Whatever they're doing. Had to pick top 5 with just a single game from a series. That would be a bit hard. That's it, yeah. Yeah, I didn't think it was a butt hard. Oh, you don't want a butt hard. That's harsh. Anyway, we have a lady and her dog looking out to sea, perhaps wistfully.
There's something in the water.
I believe he's referring to this here when he says there's something in the water. It's not obvious. Oh, unless he's... Oh, no, you can't see my mouse now. Unless he's talking about something a little further out, but that's only pixels.
Here you are.
Excuse me?
I'm sorry, I should have said good evening.
Evening even, not morning. I'm completely confused apparently. Here we are. So, I believe this here is what he's talking about. So I may have missed that previously, but he's talking about something out in the water and it's kind of floating there. Anyway, we're in dialogue here, so we can't actually do anything. This is a lady and her dog barking out to sea. Darking out to sea, what am I on about?
What is that? In the water?
A tree stump, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Dark and shapeless. It could almost be a small body, couldn't it?
I don't know. It's too far away.
Yes. Could almost be a child's body.
What? We should...
Do not fret, my boy. All will become clear.
Make a note of that. 'Tis interesting. The tree stump looks almost as if it's a child's body out in the water. A child you may remember we just passed, but of course not in the water.
Is Saxton near here?
You are standing on Saxton Shore. So yes, you could say you've arrived.
You could say that.
I had to walk across the fenland.
Most train never arrives in Saxton.
Why is that?
I've no idea, dear boy. Saxton's an isolated town.
Oh, we're going to zoom out for even more conversation. Expected to arrive at Saxton Station.
Expected to arrive at Saxton Station.
High tides flood the fens, and no one can enter or leave the town.
How do you cope?
Cope? Cope with what?
You know, emergencies and the like.
Oh, I see.
Hello, wife here.
Cope? Yes, we cope very well.
Okay.
Okay. I'm seeking bed and board.
I'm seeking bed and board in the town.
The bear is most likely to provide what you need.
A bear? Oh, you mean a hotel?
Jesus.
No, I mean the bear. You can't miss him. He'll be swinging tonight.
I'm sorry.
Oh, dear me, I'm teasing you. You shall see.
That does make more sense when we see it, don't worry about it. Now this next line is so weird. He's a treasure hunter. So he's come to a strange town he didn't know anything about. He doesn't even know what to expect when he gets here. But he sees an article about people coming here for treasure. Now, I believe what he's trying to do is create a story for being here. Because he's on the run. He's trying to blend in with everyone else who's turned up. So, of course, everyone else has turned up for two things. Mayday, which he doesn't care about, and treasure. But he seems to have really taken this treasure hunting to heart.
I am a treasure hunter.
Well,
'Cause no one asked him.
There's a thing.
Thing? I'm seeking my fortune.
Yes, you and the others.
Others? What others?
The Mayday tides bring many to
Mhm.
Saxton.
Why is that?
high tides eat away at the rocks, cliffs, and sandbanks.
We did read an article on
Low
this.
tides expose that which has been hidden.
Like ancient treasures?
Perhaps. That and people's fortunes. And futures.
That's that. By the way,
I'm Nigel, by the way.
Yes, Mr. Danvers,
nom, nom.
I'm sure you are.
Am I expected?
Oh yes, for some time now. You may change it all. Time will tell.
interesting. So, for some reason, she was expecting us to be here.
May
We'll
I
ask her something else.
something else?
So this is weird, like a second dialogue tree within a dialogue tree. Very crazy. Zoom back in. Here we are. Is that your dog?
Is that your dog?
Yes. George and I have been companions for many, many years.
A woman's best friend?
No, I wouldn't say that.
An odd response. I wouldn't say that. So not your best friend. Okay. But it's odd to suggest that being a companion with a dog for many, many years. You know, even the best of dogs don't last that long. Good boy, George. Exactly.
I'll leave you in peace.
Very well. I'll be seeing you again, sooner or later.
That she will. We don't know her name yet, but we will do. Don't worry. So yes, I believe actually instead of this bit here, what they're looking at may actually be around here. It's just floating up and down. I couldn't see it before, so ignore me. It's fine. So, yep, our only way is out that way. Oh, we can double click. I keep forgetting about it. And ta-da! The boy is gone. Along with his teddy. And now we can go right. It's strange we couldn't before. I mean, we could have just walked past the boy, but, you know, we decided ahead was the only way to go. And so we'll go down this way. Oh, right. Don't know why. I expected him to do something. So we have back up the way we came. We have left, and we have sort of down right. So we'll go down right first. This essentially just changes our perspective. It's an odd cave, and the start of clearly a small village of some description. Okay, it's a deep dark cave. Let's wander in. Why not? And that sound effect is very weird. It sounds like someone shouting like they've just stabbed their toe or something. It's you. Yeah, oh yeah, or like a sneeze in fact. It's an odd groaning coming from a cave. We don't always expect that. But based on the last one, why not?
To see with my own eyes.
So we're not allowed in with our own eyes. We have to steal someone else's at some point. That's fine. It's an odd terminology. I can't see with my own eyes. Anyway, so that cave goes nowhere at the moment. I do like this game's sort of weird mixture of real life textures and computer game, and the fact that they're done in black and white, I feel adds to the merging of the two. In fact, I think that's probably why the aesthetic is there, because once it starts going into colour, that gets a lot harder to deal with. Anyway, so here's obviously the rest of the houses. We can go right or up the stairs. We'll have a quick trip right. This is where we come to if we had clicked left before.
I think I'll pass on the local delicacy.
Yeah, these are all the rotting catch that can't be used because of all the putridness in the water. We've got some seagulls here. Surprised they haven't made short work of the lobster, to be honest. Nice little... I'm not even sure what this would be, actually. Just a seawall of some description? I don't know exactly what it'd be called. A small plaque here, which is of note. Something just to bear in mind. Harbour wall. Oh, it's a harbour wall. There we go. Rebuilt 1847. The reconstruction of Saxon's precious harbour wall was made possible through the generous donations made by Frederick Agar Northfield. Agar, even, whatever. Lobster looks rank at the best of times. True, yes. Anyway, so that's the harbour wall. Not a lot to it. We have a man up here. Where my mouse turns. A man up here who we can't talk to. Don't know exactly who he is. He may be someone we encounter later, but we don't know. Can't do anything with him yet. Don't swim. Makes sense. I mean, especially now. And look, poor little kitty. It says missing cat watch. We can just about read that in the distance. Hello, seagull. Yeah. You'll be saying that a lot if you try. Keep up. Missing kitty. He's so cute.
I'll make a note.
I have no idea if that number is even vaguely real. I expect not with the 555 in the middle. But it looks real. So I'm, you know, kudos there. So he makes a note of that. Seemingly no reason as far as we can tell, except the fact that it's a missing cat. So I guess we should always keep our eyes open for missing cat posters and such. You know, I'll go with that. It's believable. And here is the bear. Swinging.
The creaky sign says, "The Bear."
Ta-da! And the menu. The Bear, Saxton's one and only public house, or pub, obviously. The Bear has stood on his site for over 300 years. The building itself was once a dockside warehouse and provided bed and board for fishermen forced into Saxton's safe harbour by the stormy North Sea. Come on in and sample our hospitality or try one of Saxton's famous lobsters. No, not right now, thank you. A peaceful, pleasant evening awaits. So there's our menu. And closed indefinitely, Harbour Cottage. Wonderful place to stay, dine or visit, take a room, have a meal or just pop in for an ale or two. Local food is beautifully served, washed down with a Northfield apple juice or pint of Old Nick's ale. And some weird, you know, stuff all thrown in. I mean, Captain's Cabin, one night, £60. That's a really good deal, to be honest. November to May, £40? That's basically half price. No vegan options. Pfft. Who needs vegan options? You got lobster. Yeah, these are some interesting references here, which again are just references. They don't really mean anything. You know, you don't have to read too much into it. But some of these names, like Spivey, there is more going on. Oldcombe, Northfield. These all sort of come into play throughout. But to me, that only sort of help mesh the world together, so to speak. You know, you feel like it's all connected because in real life it would be. Anyway, that's that. So we looked at it. Let's just go inside. What's a game you could never get tired of playing? Oh Jesus. Oh God, see, I have actually thought about this question, strangely enough, at some point in the past. I don't know as if there is one, because the problem is, as much as I enjoy any game, I will eventually get bored of it. I can't help it. I will always want a change of scenery, and that's why it always takes me so long to get through some games, because it's like only recently I completed the first Dishonored, because as long as I've had it, I'll play for a bit and I'll go, oh wow, this game is great, I can't, you know, why did I stop playing? And then about, you know, a week later, after sort of playing it for, you know, several hours in between other stuff, I'm just like, oh, okay, yeah, well, I'm kind of bored now. I just feel like something a little different, you know, just to break up the. It starts to feel a bit like a job, and then I want to break up the monotony of the same feeling, so to speak, you know. And then before you know it, it's been months and I haven't played it, and I come back to it and I'll go, oh yeah, it's all great again, you know. So I don't know as if there's ever a game I could play like indefinitely. I mean, some of them I will play a lot of, or I feel like I could go back to frequently, certainly more frequently than others, but I don't know as if there's ever one I could just never get tired of playing. What about yourself? Have you hit any games like that? I'd be interested to know if they're actually story games or what genre they are. Anyway, so whilst you think about that, we are now inside the Bear. This is the pub, obviously. And I've just reminded myself I haven't done my MMO dailies, and I'm not sure I'll get around to it before they cancel, which means I might miss the event. God damn it. Just an old picture on the wall.
Church built onto the cliff tops, overlooking the sea.
Interesting. For some reason. And another
The
picture.
Bear, next to the harbour.
Right, yes, this is an old version of where we are now. That's fair enough. So we'll talk to this lady.
Excuse me. Can you help?
Good afternoon, stranger. What can I get you?
I'll take a bottle of still water.
Sure, why not? Now this is kind of odd, this dialogue. Usually most dialogue trees, they either don't matter which order you go in, or personally I just go from, you know, top to bottom. Or there's going to be, obviously, you know, if it's an RPG or something, there's some very specific ones you've got to choose. But in this I'll just run top to bottom, and I think it is slightly out of sync. I'll explain why if it comes up.
For a week.
All our guest rooms are taken. Busy time, May.
So there's nothing you can offer?
Well, there is the cottage on the harbour, if that suits you.
Well, I'll take anything you have.
It's clean, but a bit cluttered.
I'm none too fussy. I'm sure it will be fine.
I hope you don't mind the sounds and briny smells.
Is it nearby?
It's right on the harbour, surrounded by water.
Perfect. What do I owe you?
We can settle up when you leave. That's if you leave us, Mr. Danvers. Here's the keys and a map of the town.
Okay, so very, very strange. First of all, Harbour Cottage is the one on the sign outside that says it's closed indefinitely. It's also very weird that she should happen to say "if you leave us" and then has our name. A, we haven't told her our name, sorry. And also, it's just, you know, it's really sinister to say "if you leave us." It's so strange. Sorry, chat. Pokemon Picross. Played that several times. That the puzzles are good to dip into non-puzzle games. I think it's more there's ones that I could play again after a time. That's fair. Yeah. Hang on. Exactly. Completely understand. That's fair. You played Mario Picross. Ooh. Where did that come up? Was that DS or is it like on the Switch or something like that? Actually, I don't think you have a Switch, do you? If I recall correctly. It was Game Boy. Oh wow. Okay, sorry. Going even further back than I was thinking. For some reason, because I automatically assumed that Picross is like a touch screen kind of game. You know, like they put it on a mobile, or like I said, like the DS or something with a touch screen. Wow. But, see, I like Picross, but that's like, you know, a crossword or a Sudoku or something. You know, I don't necessarily class them as games because it's just a puzzle I like to do occasionally. You know, there's a Zelda Picross, but it's only available in Nintendo Platinum Points. Yeah, see, I think that's kind of sucky. Nintendo Platinum Points are so hard to get hold of. Any great, you know, number. It's very annoying. Anyway, so we've asked about the room. She said, no rooms, but we can stay in Harbour Cottage. Here's a map and our bottle of water. Mario Picross is available on the Switch, on the Virtual Console. Oh, nice. Okay, cool. Yes, who are you?
Pardon me, but who are you?
Me? I'm Morgan, the landlady of the Bear, and have been for a few years now. And you are?
Nigel Danvers.
You'll be in for quite a week.
So she knows our name, but mentions our name. But then says, you know, who are you? It's very weird. So I think that's kind of mixed up. Like those lines of dialogue are just kind of confused slightly, and that you know, maybe one's meant to be above the other or something like that. So this, she says her name is Morgan. She is Morgan Mankell. She was in the newspaper. Remember her? She is 29 years old, and she's been the pub owner for a few years, apparently, according to her. Anyway, May a busy time?
May.
Well, she just said it is, but you know, we'll ask.
Yes, you could say that.
Local events?
The Saxton May Day Fair is famous in these parts. You'll be in for quite a week.
A whole week, apparently.
Does the pub have a phone?
Afraid not. Wouldn't be in keeping with the place.
Is there a payphone in town?
Yes, across the harbour, over the bridge and up Station Lane.
Right, so there is a phone in the town, but a single payphone in the town. See, that's another odd thing about this game. It came out in 2009, I believe, and you know, it wasn't in production for, you know, a decade or whatever. So we had smartphones going by then, easily, obviously. It always, or at least, yeah, we did, or at least, you know, good mobiles anyway. it always confuses me that he never has a mobile, and of course the whole town doesn't even actually have like a decent phone system. They have one payphone. It's very unusual for its time. If you had to pick a game, it would be Metroid Fusion. Okay, Kirby. Kirby and the Magic Mirror, sorry. Kirby and the Magic Mirror, I don't know that one. From what I understand, most Kirby games are basically the same. But I've never played that one. Legend of Zelda Phantom Hourglass. Do you know what? Phantom Hourglass is one of those that's haunted me for years. Because I enjoyed it. I haven't played a DS game in so long. I had Phantom Hourglass. I was gifted it. And I remember getting quite far into it, and I really, enjoyed it. But again, it's another one of those. Something distracted me. I didn't finish the game, and I've never gone back to it. And so every time it comes up, I always just get this little sort of flash in my head, like, I must get around to finishing that at some point in my life. but that is a good one. I mean, it always amazed me. Amazed me how well that worked based on the graphics of the GameCube game. Obviously, it was coming off of the Wind Waker, that they sort of translated that into a much lower resolution, and it still felt so good. I mean, you look at it. If you look at a still shot of it, you go, "Wow, that's really ugly." But when it's playing, it runs so smooth. It's weird. Such a good, yeah, that's fair. You don't even have to suggest I finish it. It's always there in the back of my brain. I'll get around to it one day. It only 4 DS games, but more 3DS games. That's fair. Yeah. Do you know what? I have a surprisingly large collection of DS games, if I remember correctly. But those were back in the days when I was earning enough to be buying more. The Zelda games prefer Spirit Tracks to Phantom Hourglass. Yeah, that's fair. I never even got around to Spirit Tracks because never finished it. But whatever. One of these days. Anyway, so no payphone. We'll catch you later. Perhaps. Interesting way to end the conversation. See you later. Maybe. Wasn't fond of the console for the control. Sorry, for the DS Zelda games. Really? DS Zelda games. I just thought they were. I mean, I may be misremembering. Like I said, it's been quite a few years, but I just thought they were basically a D-pad and sort of ABYX kind of things. That's Spirit Tracks. I know you bought it for me. No, I don't have it. No, but I never bothered even sort of moving on to it. Moving around with like an RTS unit with a touchscreen. Oh, really? Oh, I remember. Oh, yes. When you oh, yes, in the boat. I remember you had to draw the path for it as well, didn't you? Okay. I don't remember having any trouble with it. I don't remember disliking it as such. But obviously, because I'd completely forgotten how it even worked. But I can understand. It's certainly, especially for the 3D version, it like a 3D aspect game. It's very sort of, it's weird to run that stuff on a handheld. Anyway, sorry, I'm looking over here this time. And a cat by the fire. By the fire, of course. Yeah. Joysticks or D-pad for moving. That's fair. Yeah, I mean, it can be really difficult to break a habit when you've spent so many years building them up. Beer Seeker, hello, welcome. Once again, oh, do you know what? For once, when I remember, I see your name. Oh no, that was the wrong button. Gotta shout you out. There we go. Beer Seeker is a fun streamer himself. He I mean, you play whatever you want, but last I saw you were playing Valheim and Kerbal Space Program, and then the other one I haven't seen you play on another day for some time now, actually. So maybe it's going to be up to you. Whatever. Oh, hang on, sorry. Back into tab. There we go. Anyway, welcome. Hello, how are you doing? Hope you're having a good day. And yeah, no problem about the shout out, don't worry. It's going fine, thank you. We're currently into the Lost Crown. It's taken us so much. Rimworld. Planning to do tomorrow. Oh, I was wondering, what the hell is plugging into? It worked out, don't worry. Planning to do tomorrow. Nice. Okay, well, I look forward to it. That'd be cool. Also never finished Skyward Sword. I can understand that one. Skyward Sword for me. See, as much as I enjoyed Twilight Princess, I remember actually finishing it. Where Skyward Sword, it went on. Twilight Princess also had like a just sort of this more. I don't know. Twilight Princess it wasn't perfect, don't get me wrong, by any means, but I think sort of having the Midna aspect and the changes and things, it was kind of interesting, although I don't like the world map as much as Skyward Sword. But Skyward Sword there are times it's a real slog. I mean, you know, you're watching it and you're just like, oh my god. Spirit Track to find out. Keyboard and fat finger sometimes create some semantic artwork. That's fair. Yeah. Be an NFT before you know it. Anyway, so you join us in The Lost Crown, a puzzle / ghost hunting game. You don't really know it's a ghost hunting game at this stage, but you know, spoilers, there's ghosts involved. And we just made it to a town called Saxton. We don't know why we're here, but we decided we're going to be a treasure hunter. We're currently in the pub looking for a room, and they've given us a room in the cottage next door, and we found a cat. Now, by the fire, as all cats should be. If there is a fireplace, they should be near it for warmth, obviously, because cats are known to enjoy, you know, death by immolation generally. But there is more to the pub, so we're going to keep looking around. Got a nice groovy picture. I do like the detail of being able to look at all these pictures.
Painting or a copy of one.
But there isn't actually much to come from them. That's kind of disappointing. This is the ladies. So we shouldn't, in theory, be going in anyway. But we'll knock just to creep some people out, you know. Why not? You know. And on the gents, which we can go in, we'll knock again. That doesn't make any sense at all. You know, but why not? I've never been to a public bathroom and knocked on the door, because if it's not open, you just don't go in. It's as simple as that. You know, you're not having a conversation through the door.
That's unusual. The clock is stuck at 9 o'clock.
That is unusual, to be fair. Why it would be ticking and stuck, I don't know. And why someone would keep it when it's stuck, I don't know. But they have a nice clock, and it says 9 o'clock. There we go. So this, another sort of odd mix of, you know, colour introduced into a black and white game. Such a weird sort of pearlescent view here going on. But these are the these are the local lobster we get to sample.
I think I'll pass on the local delicacy.
If we weren't so put off. I mean, to be honest, I wouldn't try lobster anyway. But certainly not. Oh no, that's not what I wanted. No, I want the other one. Yeah, after there was an article in the newspaper saying that the water had become polluted, so no one's eating it. So I certainly won't be touching it myself.
I think I'll pass on the local delicacy.
Yeah, easy enough. And so we have to sort of walk away this way, despite what we want to actually do is look at these things over here. The music in here is so weird. There's a real sort of I don't know, sort of an Asian vibe to it. It's so strange. Saxton Snappers, organised by Reese Brandwin, Celtic Corner. And we get to take one right in the middle there. Oh yes, we've got all this stuff in our inventory we haven't looked through yet. We'll do that when we get into our room. We'll do that. So we have to take the weird sort of scenic route out of the pub. If you hear screaming outside, it's children. They've just left school. I was like, what is that? Sounds like someone stood on a puppy. But no. Just random children. Now this arrow is not up the stairs, it's down the road, which is the only direction we can go besides backwards. That's what we'll do. Very slowly. Wandering this way. Does water pollution cause a lobster version of Godzilla when lumbers out of the water, clicking claws ominously? No, unfortunately. Go through Skyward Sword on hero mode right now. I could finish it, but I'm Trying to get the Hylian shield, and it's hard. Oh, blimey, yeah. See, that's dedication. Most of the time, I finish a game and that'll do. I don't go through it, you know, on hard mode, certainly. But that's fair. Sorry, I'm going to sneeze, I think. I admire people who do. Damn it, I'm not going to sneeze. I so felt like I was going to. Right, okay, we can go back the way we are. Or we can talk to this weird man here.
Hello there.
Oh, hello.
Charming. We'll just walk up to someone. What are you up to?
What are you up to?
What are you up to?
On holiday, actually.
Actually, I think you're fine.
Work. I'm a writer, a journalist for the local rag.
I'm guessing not much happens.
A local
around here.
weird
You'll
rag.
be surprised.
Okay, apparently we'd be surprised what happens in a small town in Anglia. For anyone who's not aware, by the way, Anglia is a subsection of England. It is primarily the essentially like Middle Eastern part. It's above and right of London. That's generally it as far as I can understand. It yeah, I couldn't draw its location on a map exactly. I know generally the area it's in. But that's supposedly where we are, the coast somewhere of Anglia. It's kind of an old term, really. I don't, you know, although it still gets used, no one really sort of recognises the place as Anglia. It would just be broken down into its actual counties generally. Right, it's a foggy night.
This fog hides many
Oh,
things.
okay. He didn't even say that first line.
Treasure.
It's one word for it.
Another glory seeker.
Not exactly. I'm not sure what I'm seeking.
Okay, well, treasure generically, I would have thought. He'll see us
I'll see
around.
you around.
You will. Trust me.
Everyone's like, I'll see you later. I don't know why. I mean, it's like they don't trust us. Oh yeah, okay. So we can go right here. See, here's a seagull. Very happily fed by the looks of it. And the lady happened to mention that there was a phone box. However, it is up round the corner, which we cannot get to because of these boats rather inconveniently strewn across the pathway, which of course we won't walk across or step over. We'll just, you know, we'll say, no, can't do it. There is a random individual up here and a metal detectorist over here.
There's someone out there.
There is. That's all we're going to get. Someone out there. And an odd boat, sort of rather moored, called the Swallow. Now, is this Harbour Cottage? It is right next to the Bear, which they said was going to be our place to stay.
I had better not disturb anybody.
No, apparently not. I mean, I know that anyway. But this is Harbour Cottage.
You boy.
And that's a rather rude man.
You boy. What are you doing?
Boy.
Loitering?
I'm staying nearby. Harbour Cottage?
This town attracts all sorts of freaks and losers at this time of year.
You don't say. Are you involved in that list? Oh no, of course he lives here anyway. I know who this man is.
What's so special about this time of year?
Oh dear, not too bright, are you? Had much experience of geology, have you?
Well, no, not really. I've always thought that,
How about archaeology?
I've thought that what? Stones are stones?
No, but I'm willing to learn.
As all archaeologists should. I'm willing to learn. Oh, that's not how these things necessarily work.
Do you believe this county conceals hidden treasures?
I do. Whether we find them is another matter.
Well, of course,
This
yes.
land is old and steeped in blood and horror.
Horror.
The landscape around us has been witness to the fall of kings and death in plague-sized proportions.
You could say that about most land,
Time
though, to be
and
fair.
turmoil can see some items misplaced. They are there for us to find if you know where to look.
Oh, I know. But it's still, you know, pretty rude to use, though. I mean, just to a complete stranger. And certainly with that tone of voice as well.
I'm keen to find the treasure.
You know, just
Where's
boy.
the best place to start?
Well, that's an easy one. Leave town, walk back across the fens to the station,
Yep, I'm with you so far.
get on a train, and clear off back to London ASAP.
You
I
bastard.
can't do that, Mr.
Hardacre, Professor Hardacre, famed archaeologist. Perhaps you've heard of me.
Famed. You get your letter, you get your
My
name in a
journey was a one-way trip.
single newspaper. He's just telling people to get out of town. I mean, Jesus, kind of bloke anyway.
This seems a good town in which to disappear.
On the run, are we?
No.
To disappear makes it sound like he's going to
laying low
die
for a while.
or kill someone.
Suggest making peace with who you're running from, and getting back to your own little world.
You could be right. I can but try. I'm not going
Can
back
but
to
try.
London empty-handed.
So be it. Enjoy your stay.
I haven't heard of. And there he wanders. The annoying bastard. So we can go back to where we were and look at some benches. Sure, why not? And then we can also just look at cottage right here, which is where we're meant to be going. So, as it says there, Harbour Cottage. Easy enough. Nice, rather new-looking window right here. Most of the time here, my love, which caused me no end of confusion when I came to the UK. Yeah. Do you know what? The odd thing is, I've never had the guts to say something like that, sort of so familiar. I've never used familiarities with strangers, just because I can't help but imagine it would sound so creepy coming out of my mouth. They're just, probably just ugh. So I just stick with, you know, just hi. No, that'll do. But yeah, some regions are very familiar with each other. Where are we? Oh yeah, this is our right. Okay, now this little weird symbol is our use symbol. So she gave us the key. This is the key for Harbour Cottage right here, and we've got to use this on the lock. That's our first time actually using an item. And bugger me, look at this place.
No, this place is a dump. I guess it'll
Excuse
have
me.
to do for now. Time to have a look around.
There's roaches on the table, and the floor, and the plates. Yeah, I mean, this isn't a dump; it's a pit. I wouldn't take my coat off. Ugh.
Home, sweet home, for the time being.
But you know what? I've got to give some praise to, again, the game makers for these motes of dust just floating around in this beam of light. It's so cool. Anyway, so yeah, so here's all the dirty crap laying around. Over here, we get to look at a cabinet. You used to quack when I was calling the shop I worked at the Gina. So she pointed us to a phone box, despite the fact that there is a phone here.
The phone line is silent. It must be disconnected.
Which is not connected. We'll bear that in mind for later. Then we got something lower down. A couple of drawers, obviously. Empty. What was that? Whispering in the background. Interesting. And a light switch, which does nothing. So we'll just take a quick explore around, investigate what the place has to offer. So here is a dead end with some mouldy carpet and an interesting picture. It looks like It looks like a window to I don't know, a church or a castle or something, and some trees, and that's it. Like who has a picture of just a window? What would be the point? You know, either they took the time to paint it or they took the time to photograph it. Either way, there's nothing there to look at really. Rotting plaster on the wall of the room with the phone or something else. I'm going to say it's probably rotting plaster, yes. Some strange woman looking out to whatever. And the most modern of kitchens, obviously. So rank, it's disgusting. There's the little window we were looking at from the outside. And we have a book here, which we cannot interact with. Means nothing to us, apparently.
No one has been through there for decades.
It says through there. This is actually just a cupboard. This is just a door into a cupboard. Then we have another little table over here. Ooh, things to look at and read. Okay, buying, selling, auctions, land management, Crabtree Estates, I'm going to assume that is. Harbour Cottage, Saxton, Anglia. This delightful harbourside cottage will be offered at auction in nearby Rendlesburg. Rendlesburg? Rendlesburg. Can never be too sure. I've never heard of Rendlesburg. I'm going to assume it's with a G. On the 7th of November, 1988. Offers over 50,000 are expected. So that's the first date, really, of any recent time we've heard in the game. 1988. Often you play point-and-click puzzle games. I remember one I played as a kid. Ever heard of Neverhood? Neverhood? No, I haven't. Doesn't ring any bells at all. Hang on. Let me write that down. Neverhood. Do you remember it fondly? What was it like? Location. Perched on the very edge of Saxton Quay, Harbour Cottage offers great views of the working harbour to the front and the coast path and open sea to the rear. With water surrounding the building on 3 sides, the cottage often feels at sea, bobbing up and down on the ocean. Well, it doesn't, but that's how it feels. The cottage is ideally placed within the heart of the town, with access to Saxton Shore, the Bear Restaurant and Bar, as well as the shops near the museum and train station. All of these shall be visited at some point. So, an interesting choice of an interesting way of depicting the the cottage here. We've got an outside view, perfectly reasonable. That's what the front of it looks like, or at least the access to it. This bugger floods like you wouldn't believe. Yeah, exactly. Get some damp proofing in. And then just a picture of a wall with some windows. There's no real perspective on this. It doesn't make any sense to have this image. It offers no view of what the inside is like. All you know is that you're apparently upstairs, and that's it. It's very strange. So out of all those bits of paper in the drawer, that was all that was there. It was ages ago. To understand what I was doing, but I remember I did have some fun bits in it. Check it out and have some time. I will do. I've taken the name. I shall check it out after the stream. Thank you. Oh yeah, and I keep forgetting to double click just to reduce our walking time. This is obviously the bathroom. We can see a bath in there. Okay. So we can look at the bath. Lovely. An old rusty tin bath, just what you wanted. Oh, no, not out. Oh, okay. I clicked on something else. That's good. So, oh my god, why would these be here? Just bin them. No one's going to use them. That's rank. Ironically, cleaning stuff that looks dirtier than anything else in the room. And that's all that is with the toilet. And we got a sink. And another window. Oh, this actually is the window we would have been looking at next to the door, because of course this room is closer. Do you know what? I've always imagined it was the kitchen window for some reason. Never mind. Anyway, that's us in the mirror, strangely. And that's it. Wow. Okay, so we can look at us in the mirror. Strange. Oh crap. Jeez. Maybe jump like mad. Oh no, one of these plates has broken, which we couldn't look at before anyway. But here's a book. I didn't notice that before. Strangely, just a random book here. We've opened it up in the middle, seemingly, and there seems to be a watermark of some initials, E and M, on the pages. I mean, that's an expensive book. Can you imagine having the pages of your book watermarked on both sides throughout the entire book? That's insane. Anyway, so March 14th, 1952. It appears to be some kind of diary, I'm assuming. The cottage is ready. I could never have believed the old storehouse could look so charming. The view from the window is truly delightful. Who would have thought... Wow, these are short sentences. Who would have thought such a humble building could offer so much? The carpenters of Saxton have followed my instructions well. Even the door frames have small windmill motifs, which Christina is sure to find charming. I count the minutes until her arrival. Okay, so 9 days later, March 23rd. Christina arrived this afternoon. It is wonderful to have her here in the Harbour Cottage at last. Saxton welcomed her, but still she seems unsure of the place. I will have to introduce her to the others as soon as possible. It is important that she warms to the place, as I intend to stay for many, many years. Well, do you now? Maybe she gets, you know, a choice in this. March 24th, so the following day. The locals have taken to her, as I'd hoped they would. Wow, in 24 hours. It's a lot of minutes to count, it is. We celebrated Saxton's newest arrival with drinking, dancing and singing within the warm panelled rooms of the Bear. Christina wishes to continue her work as soon as possible. This is a wonderful sign. If she can sew, stitch and weave, then I know she will be content to live here in this old town with me. Okay, March 28th, so 4 days later. Christina is sick. Something we ate, she said, but I ate the same as she. I have put her to bed and disturbed her sleep only to bring water. My work will take me away from town for several days, but can I leave her? A strange face in a strange town. No, I'll have to stay by her side. Her beautiful hair has begun to thin. In 4 days? Her hair is thinning already? I have kept this news from her, as it can do no good.
The other pages appear to be blank.
Wow.
That's very odd.
It is, actually. It is very odd. So we have 4 random, you know, diary entries from 1952. Oh, actually, if we look at the book, we can see the front. It says Eduardo de Molina. So that would be where the initials come from. Oh, and we can look in these drawers now as well. All for nothing, but whatever. Lots of manky tins lying around the place. Lovely. Oh, and a crunchy plate as well. So let's head back this way as we can. Got nothing to do with the table or the chair, but we can go upstairs. Here we are. Okay. Lots to look at, or at least one large area to look at. Oh, so, okay.
There's a windmill carved into the wood.
He said there would be windmills everywhere. We get to look at the ceiling. Right, so this is lobster poisoning. I'm sure there's some specific thing that you can get. Starts with P. Okay. Plobster poisoning. No, I don't know. Anyway, so this would be part of the image they showed on the auction paper. Again, I don't entirely understand why they would just randomly have a picture from up here. You know, but whatever. Typical old school artwork. Actually, we can look out the window before we pass. Oh no, okay, we're going to look at the paintings. More horses. This isn't really the place for, you know, horse artwork, because it's seaside. You don't get many horses here. And this strange whirling water. Or swirling even. And here's the bedroom. The one and only bedroom in this surprisingly large cottage. But yeah, you look out the window and the water is swirling on this point. So it's like a weird vortex going on. It's very strange. Anyway, so we have a deer head above the bed. Lovely. We have a bed, a little chest, a table, and a cabinet.
This is the perfect place to pin the Haddon documents.
Right, these are the bits from our inventory that we were being chased for taking the documents. Domain? Okay, I've never heard of that. So we might as well look at these now whilst we're here. Oh. Okay, some weird dial-up noises. Domain. Okay, spelled differently, fair enough. Still never heard of it, sorry. Okay, so this appears to be a timeline, I'm assuming, of... Oh, okay, so login attempts. So he's requesting to log in as Mr. Haddon. Authorization cleared. Mr. Crow cleared. Hare. Password entered. Password authorized. Main server D-Labs. Paranormal Division. Mr. Hare Project Darkfall. Again, another reference to another game series entirely, known as Darkfall, in which well, they're the Darkfall series. They've had 4 of them now. The first one of which, the first and the 4th one make reference to Nigel Danvers again. Interesting. I like that weird sort of crossover of worlds, even though it doesn't necessarily mesh, but it's interesting. Initializing, isolating Project Darkfall, firewalled, and so, hang on. Can we go to the bottom? Oh, we can do, yeah. He's tried all these incorrect passwords. Password cleared. There's Nigel Danvers. Sent late arrival report. Okay. And so we've got another piece of paper. All these access denied. So he's... Oh. There we are. Logins denied. Rear fire escape opened. So that suggests he got in through some kind of back door, I guess. Okay, Haddon Industries D-Lab Experiments Case File Project Darkfall. Report submitted by Mr. Hare. April showers. The chasm ripped open at shadow time. Confirming our estimations. Crow operated the energy feed, as I observed from the gallery. Staring into the chasm revealed forms within the swirling clouds of pure dark energy. Could they be organic life forms or just phantom forms adrift within the sea of supernature? I could swear that many of the forms seemed to take on the almost humanoid shape, with arms reaching out as if hoping to be dragged from the chasm and pulled into our world. If true, I fear that could never be allowed. What terrible effect would such an action have on our world? Mr. Haddon is due to revisit the lab later this afternoon. I can only hope that the forms reappear when we open the chasm. He will know what to do. Our technology needs this research. We are so close to seeing into the world beyond the chasm. What will lie there on the other side? Who knows? And then we got a couple of pictures here. A couple of swirly pictures. Had an imaging. And these are the almost humanoid army shapes, I guess. And that's that. So we've taken those out of our inventory, which cuts it down to this now. We'll look at that shortly. And there's a couple of drawers on the bottom. Again, nothing in them. Okay. I'm almost sort of confirming that to myself, to be honest. We don't need to look all the time, but I'm just making sure there's nothing in there that I'm not going to miss. There's this weird, like, tank-controlled turnaround spinny thing. These, for anyone who's not aware, are old pound coins from the UK. That's an old fiver by the looks of it, probably. £5 note. And yeah, these pound coins are obviously no longer in circulation, as we have new ones now from a couple of years ago at least now. Yeah, interesting. I liked those old pound coins. They were, I don't know, there's just something more solid. Now they're just, feels like they're not worth the pound they are. So we have a random empty photo album for some reason. So let's look at those items we have in our inventory now. So this is us, Nigel Danvers, Design Department, Level D access.
Anytime soon.
Level D, interesting. Spin it around.
What's this?
He doesn't know what's on the back of his own ID card, but that is Haddon Industries work number. Yeah, oh yeah, sorry, got to click the little arrow to leave. This is the wallet that we were handed by Station Master. This is the lady we're supposed to be following. Well, we were following until we lost her. Lucy Rubens. She is a student with the United College East Anglia. That is not a thing, obviously it's made up, although East Anglia does exist. Now that's an odd thing because college is very confusing. We've been over this before, I think, but you know, in the UK you can be an adult in college, you could be a child technically in college. It normally sort of obviously for the Americans, their college is what we would call university, which runs into your like early 20s, whereas here college can start at like 16, and then it can, you know, or you can be going for adult classes and so on. So it's never entirely narrowed down exactly how old she is. The picture on the front of the photograph of a bride and groom or a man with a camera. I believe it's a man with a camera. But this is active for 3 years. That's just her student card essentially. And we don't get to comment on it at all. So it's that's interesting to note when we start talking about Morgan Mankell later on. I'll bring that up at the time.
A phone number for Cat Watch.
So we didn't steal the poster, despite the fact that we have a poster on us. It's kind of strange.
A bottle of water.
Bottle of water.
The key to Harbour Cottage.
3 years, I'd say uni. Really? Even though it's called a college? I mean, I guess everything suggests that it is, but it's called a college. It's very odd. But again, still of note, because the average person is only in university in their early 20s. So that's something to bear in mind for later on. Like I said, I'll go...
Right.
No, that isn't right, because I misclicked. There we go. Right click on it. Saxton Snappers. Here we are. Letterbox is highlighted here for some reason, which I'm sure we'll find out in a second. Photographic illustrations are from the collection of last year's winner, and the year before that, and the year before that, and so forth. Young Oliver, often seen around Saxton snapping away with his trusty camera. Images from top left are the old post box near Celtic Corner, previously the post office, makes sense, the old cross at Oldcombe, pine trees near Northfield, and wild garlic by the stream. Okay. Spin it around. About Saxton Snappers, organised by Rhys Bramwood of Celtic Corner. Also another note, his name is Rhys, that's how that is pronounced in, well, in English, but also theoretically in Welsh. It is a Welsh name. There's collegiate unis like Oxford, Cambridge, Durham. Really? I guess so. That's fair enough. So we'll say she's a university student. Like I said, that will still be interesting later. To snap a photograph is to capture a moment in time, so to distill a single millisecond onto paper to keep forever. The trained and imaginative-minded can sense those moments and be ready, camera in hand, to catch lightning in a bottle. Are you perhaps one of these photographic alchemists? Photographic alchemists? If so, you should join Saxton Snappers and enter the town's famous competition. Grab your SLR or digital device and snap away to your heart's content come May Day when she is bright and lovely. A reference to she, which is kind of odd. You should bring your entries to me, Rhys Bramwood at Celtic Corner, or arrange for me to collect them from your home. It's strange. The best entries will be displayed in the Bear's Basement Bar when the winner is announced on May Day night. And that's that. So that's something to bear in mind. And then we have a map of the town. This has a top and a bottom. So we are Harbour Cottage right here. It says here seat. Apparently that's of note. The seat is so interesting we have to put it on the map. There's the bear as depicted by the bear. There's the harbour wall we were down. Fisherman's Cottage, so on. Quayside. So there is gift shop. That's where the train station would normally pull in, or the train should pull into the station, I should say, at any other time of year. But of course, as they mentioned, spring doesn't do that. And the payphone box is up here. So as we leave, that's where all the boats are that's stopping us, so we can't get there just yet. And we've got a whole bunch of stuff all around here we shall be seeing. Don't worry. Oh, hang on. I didn't mean to do that. There we go. And this is the bottom. There's Martello Tower. That's the fens we came in on. We went through all of these bits over here. Saxton Caverns and all that. Saxton Shore. That's where we met that lady with her dog. The pinnacles, we shall be there later as well. Okay, so that's that. And that's our inventory. We'll look at the bed.
I'll rest after I've finished investigating.
Okay. Apparently we're not done. Interesting. What are we meant to be doing? I actually thought we'd been pretty thorough on the way around. See, as many times as I've played this game, I can still imagine I'm going to get, I won't say stuck necessarily, but it is very rigidly linear in certain things. Oh, okay. Let's have a quick scout around. Let's find some things. So we've still got this man here. Is there someone we didn't talk to? I don't know. Interesting. You know what though? I've just noticed the time. And we are coming up on our 2-hour mark. It isn't a lot of gameplay. We've only just made it to the cottage. Hello, you have tuned in for the end. So I think we're probably going to save and call it here. Where are we? We shall save. Fudge. Sorry. We shall save over. I'll have old save games in here somewhere, so I'll just save over 1. That'll do. We'll take it from there. I'll make a little note to say I've saved at 1. There we go. So that is our game saved. Yeah, and when we come back, we shall be exploring the place more thoroughly, apparently. I don't know what we've missed, but we'll find it. We'll find something. Just got breakfast with both your streams this week. Don't worry. They're on VODs, or, you know, we'll be catching up normal time again next week. So, okay, let's go back to this one. There we are. Yeah, so we'll, for anyone, yeah, if anyone's not familiar, I stream usually Tuesdays and Thursdays. It was a bit later today than normal. I normally try to start somewhere around about noonish, but I was just running late today. So I will be, in theory, streaming again next Tuesday, and we'll try and pick up the pace a bit more. We've done a lot of thorough investigation. I've been I've been waffling away, to be honest. So despite, you know, nearly, yeah, we're about sort of an hour and 40 in, I guess. You know, despite that, we still only barely made it. You know, so it all starts to pick up pace and become a little more fluid as things move on. But yeah, I'd like to thank everybody for coming. Vuzon, again, if you're still here, I thank you very much again for the raid. It's very kind of you, and again for the follow. Hitoshira, good to meet you. And for everybody else who's been here, Beer Seeker, Mita, and Petapple, I hope you are doing well. I haven't said that properly, sorry. Hope you have a good, having a good day and a good breakfast at this time of day, obviously. Well, are you streaming later? It's a Thursday, so you know it's your usual day, but sometimes these things don't come around, do they? So you know, you never know. You should be, yeah. Bonus, excellent. Well, I shall see your stream later then. Why not? Let's do it. There we go. Just for anybody's interesting. And interesting? Sorry, I meant interested. Not for anybody's interesting. You can come if you're boring. It's fine. Don't worry about it. Yeah, so yeah, ignore that. Jesus. See, this is why I normally stream earlier in the day. I'm starting to get sort of weird already. Okay. So yeah, I apologise. It was a bit of a slow start, but you know, it was a thorough start, and we shall be picking up the pace from there on. I have no idea what I'm missing, but I'm sure a quick scout around will, you know, we'll tick the boxes we need to. So don't worry about that. Yeah, so all being well, I'll see everybody, or at least I'll be streaming anyway, next Tuesday. And we shall continue this, and I'm excited for this. I love this game so much. I wish I could stream it sort of more, but, you know, take it as it comes, unfortunately. So yeah, thanks everybody. Actually, do you know what I didn't do? I didn't check if anybody is streaming. That would be the polite thing to do, wouldn't it? Ooh. Do you know what? We'll go to a lovely Australian man called Darth Helmet. I raided him the other day, and he's back on today, so that's very kind. We shall do that. It goes quiet every time. Raid. Hang on, make sure I spell that right. Darth Helmet 86. It says I used that. Oh, and it did work. Okay, right. I didn't even see that pop up. Okay, cool. Right. So yeah, thanks everybody. I look forward to the next stream where we shall continue our spooky wanderings. Yeah, thanks again everybody for coming. Really appreciate it. It's been good to speak to you all. Thank you for the stream, it was fun. No problem. Have a good day, afternoon, night, whatever time it is, and yeah, and all being well, I'll see you again in the future. All right, we shall be gone now. We shall off. Okay, thanks everybody, and see you around. Bye.